Dan, let's dive in with the very first question. So you're judging this year's 2025 Speaker Awards. What are you personally looking for in a winning application?
For me, I look for two things. I look for flash and I look for substance. And let me explain what I mean by that. I'm looking for great content, but I'm looking for someone who delivers that content in a really engaging, smart, innovative way. So much of the time we hear speakers who have great energy, but the content is meh. And then other speakers who have amazing content, but I'm falling asleep. You have to have both.
Fantastic. And what advice would you give to somebody who's overthinking their application? So let's say they're stuck on what to include. There's a video they have to submit, and perhaps they're just having a moment with this video. What advice would you give to the overthinker?
The first thing I would say is stop overthinking. Perfection is the worst thing you can ever strive for in this industry, because nothing is ever perfect, and you could deliver the best speech in the world, and to yourself you could always find something that's not quite where it wanted to be. I think for me, you've got to make sure that if you're a video specific, you want to make sure the video is audible and I can see you. But again, I'm not looking for a flashy Warner Brothers Disney edit on it. I just want to hear great content and get a sense of who you are. That is the most important thing to me. And the truth is, there is a sense of better done than perfect. The more you're spending time on it, the more you're overthinking it, actually you'll end up stripping everything away, and you'll actually probably taking a little bit of your own personality away. So just do it. Just go for it.
Love that advice. Keep it simple and just get the darn thing in. For speakers who are newer and still not perhaps represented by a bureau, maybe they're looking at this and thinking it's way too early for me. Is this kind of awards process worth the effort for them if they're in those earlier stages?
Absolutely. Ready is ready. I like to compare this to, like, in sport, right? Just because a player is young doesn't mean they shouldn't play. If you're good enough, you're good enough. You've got to start somewhere. And there's plenty of speakers that had never been booked before who I have then booked and then get booked a lot more because they do a great job. You have to start somewhere. If you're ready, you're ready. If you're not ready, you're not ready.
I like how you like simplify that. Like it's not really just like a matter of so many years in means that you're ready. You're great at doing this. You get great feedback. You're getting booked. You know, just throw your hat in the ring and get the accolades back for it. So when somebody truly catches your eye in their application, do you keep them on your radar as a bureau? Because we talk a lot about the bureaus and agents and potential bookers that are in the judging committee, but does that mean anything for you?
Absolutely. Great speakers are great speakers. My job is to recommend the best possible speakers for my client, whether they are famous or whether they are not, whether they are new, whether they are old. It's relevant to me. If you fit the brief and I think you're great, I'm always going to recommend you. And obviously, if I've seen you and I've judged you and I thought you were great in the judging, why wouldn't I recommend you?
It just makes sense, right? At this point, it really just makes sense.
It's mutually beneficial.
What do you think separates a good speaker from a great speaker application? So if we think of the ones that have really jumped off the page for you, what have they had versus the just generally quite nice to have one?
I think for me, I have to very quickly be able to identify what you do. And if I can't look at it quickly and go, they talk about X, at that point, I know how my clients would feel about it. And when I do this, I do try and think in the lens of a client, because that's my job. I find that that's the easiest way of looking at speakers. So for me, the simplified nature of like understanding what you speak about, and then I want to see great content and a great style. And I don't mean the way you dress. I mean like charisma, but how you get your message across and the impact that you could make on an audience.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like in some ways what you're looking for is the core of what makes a really great speaker. And I think some people get very hung up on it's a video submission. And the video is the sort of thing that just throws people off. Oh, I don't have a fancy video. Should I edit it? Should I do 2 camera pieces as well? But what I'm hearing you say is you can strip all of that stuff out. Do I know what you talk about? And did you engage me?
I have to, we have to remember that being a professional speaker is like being the lead actor on the West End. Like, I have to come to your performance and you have to tell me the story, whether you're actually telling a story or not, but everything you're doing is a story. So I have to see the arc. I have to know where you're going with it. And it has to be emotive to me. If I don't feel anything, it's never going to work for me.
Love that. Thank you for that. Here's a bonus question for you, Dan. Bit cheeky one.
Go
From
for
your perspective, do you think awards like this matter in the speaking industry?
Yes, I do. Sometimes no, but most of the time, yes. And the reason I say yes, look, rewarding people is at the heart of what we do in business, whether that's an award, an accolade, a promotion, more money, better title, it means something. And if you have been judged by a select group of people who do know what they're talking about and you win, or you are considered, then absolutely that you deserve massive credit for that. So yes.
Fabulous. And any last words for somebody who's on the fence? Maybe they're dithering around. I don't quite have the time. I'll apply. I won't apply. They haven't quite made that decision yet. Do you have any sort of last words of wisdom for those people?
Sure. You can come up with 1,000 excuses not to do something, or you decide to do it. You know, there's that famous quote, when's the best time to plant a tree? Well, yesterday, ideally. It's entirely up to you whether you decide to go for it or not, but you won't know what's going to happen unless you do it. And isn't that in all aspects of life? So if you want to do it, you make the time to do it. It just might lead to something special.
I love that. I think it's that bit of what's possible. It just might lead to something special. And we've seen it multiple times with people who've applied, that some of them not even shortlisted, and a magical things have come off the back of just being in the room at the awards dinner and connecting with the community. So Dan, thank you so much for judging again. It's been amazing, and thank you so much for taking some time to speak to us and let us know what you're looking for in an application this year.